Hi. I was walking my dogs on Saturday morning, and as usual, I had my phone in my pocket playing ABC radio while I was walking around the field. And I heard something about some person, I can't remember the name unfortunately, who'd said something about if we haven't all written a book or learnt a language or done some amazing thing during quarantine, then it was never a case of we didn't have the time. It just meant that we didn't have the motivation and we were basically a bit lazy. And then someone else, and again, I apologise, I can't remember who this was, had basically talked about how damaging that is to people's mental health to say something like this. And what we have to do during this is to basically do you, to be ourselves. And I thought that was quite a nice theme for this little podcast. So, what does that mean? Well, if you are full of energy and you are learning a new language and writing a book and everything else, well, that's great. And if that makes you happy, go ahead and do that. If you're doing very little and if that makes you happy, well, that's okay too. And we basically all get through this in our own different ways. And the worst thing we can do is to try to compare ourselves to other people and to start to beat ourselves up if we don't achieve what we think we should be achieving. It was Theodore Roosevelt that said, comparison is the thief of joy. And he was right. But also, we also don't know what's going on in other people's lives that maybe that what they're putting on Facebook or Instagram isn't true. And similarly, they don't know what's going on in our lives and the things that perhaps we have to overcome. So do what you need to do to get through this in one piece, mentally and physically. I know myself that along with quite a few others from what I've seen, I seem to be going through some kind of cocooning phase that I seem to be cooking constantly and doing all kinds of housewifely things, for want of a better description, although I don't really like that description. Um, Cooking, I'm always quite like cooking, but at the moment I'm really into kind of saving money. What can I do with this leftover? Make up this meal, mixing things together. I've been joking with friends about turning into Nigella, and we all say, if only. But it's all part of the trying to feel safe in our little house with our family, keeping us safe, keeping us feeling warm and fed. And that's basically what keeps me going and makes me feel happy. I haven't written a book, I haven't invented a language or learned a new language or anything like that. I have made soup quite a few times. I have made comfort food from my childhood quite a few times. And in the meantime, we're all basically getting through this one step at a time, one day at a time. We started eating lunch in the front garden to see the world go by, whereas normally we all sit in the back and we all have our own privacy and we don't want to see what's happening out the front of the house. We've actually started doing that. I've even bought some new garden furniture for the front garden from Click and Collect, IKEA, and we sit and we watch the world go by and it helps. So whatever you need to do to get through this, do it. If you're full of energy and you're finding all this spare time to do what you've always wanted to do, then great. If you're in your pajamas, watching a film, cuddling your kids, making soup, reading a book, whatever you're doing, it's okay. I heard this podcast on the radio on Saturday, and I actually was going to do this recording on Saturday. But in the end, I made some pizza, we watched a family movie, we had a cuddle, we sat out the front in our new garden furniture, and that basically seemed to be just enough to do for that day. So take care, stay safe, look after yourself.